Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, ladies and gentlemen, and all in between, and welcome back to part 8 of the life and suffering of Sir Brante, the Inquisitor path. So when we last left off, we had just entered the capital and started the new chapter of youth. So I'm putting these videos out a lot quicker than the noble path at the minute because I'm trying to catch them up a little bit. I'm not going to get into the exact same point because I want to keep going with the noble path as well. But it would be good to kind of have them at the same life stage. So without further ado, let's jump straight in, just to give you an idea of where we last left off with our character. We have a whole new range of skills. Diplomacy's okay, valor's pretty crap, theology and eloquence are brilliant for our priest playthrough. Manipulation is okay and scheming is okay. I think though with more preparation, you could do better than that. At least have diplomacy a bit higher. But I'm pretty happy with that because we're only really going to need theology and eloquence. So I want to get eloquence to at least inspired speaker, and theology to prophet if we can. So without further ado, let's jump straight in with the arrival in the capital. It takes a whole month to reach Eterna. You and Tomas spend the days wagging your chins and staring at the scenery as your carriage makes its way along the road and towards the next province. Soon it crosses from the familiar barren, arid lands of Magla to the stately mountains of Illyria. During one of your many stays at a roadside inn, the two of you even manage to share a whole bottle of strong wine and keep it a secret from the servant who drives the carriage. Adult life feels positively intoxicating. We're also only 16. Soon, I tell you, soon we'll be there, and I'll earn my sword as soon as I get accepted into the military academy, you'll see, and then nobody's gonna walk all over me like I'm some commoner. You keep rehearsing everything they taught you in school. Soon you are almost at the end of your long journey. You have left behind the arid rocks of Magla, the mountains of Illyria, and the flooded meadows of Archnia. Eterna, the capital, is right ahead. Situated at the junction between the Reglata and Talrina rivers, the city is vast. 3 majestic stone bridges keep its 3 shores interconnected. Smooth stone paves the city streets. Gilded mouldings decorate the buildings. Towering pillars reach high into the sky. Your carriage takes you past a spacious park with marble fountains and intricately trimmed bushes. On the streets you see ornately decorated carriages bearing Archnean coats of arms and abundant merchants' tents, filling the streets with beckoning cries and unusual sights. The spires of ancient temples dot the city skyline. The carriage comes to a halt on a large city square with a towering marble fountain. The coachman says you have arrived. Tomas is to apply to the military academy. The academy barracks are 2 streets away. Your lodging house is in the alleyway nearby. A room has already been reserved for you. You get out onto the street and say brief goodbyes to each other. You promise to meet again after the entrance exams. Then your friend disappears into the crowded streets of the capital. You are left to your own devices in this vast city. A group of nobles walks past. They are dressed in well-fitting clothing, decorated with gems and golden thread. You are not even noticed. Street urchins chase a dog down the alleyway. Soldiers of the Imperial Legion are marching to fifes and drums towards the barracks. Humble pilgrims are gathering to the great temple of the twins. There are sounds of music and fountains and the smells of baked bread and garbage drains. You quickly check in at the lodging house, then go back outside. The sun is setting. The streetlights come to life. Merry music fills the taverns. Couples and noble coaches with tinted windows fill the streets. Shadows and hushed voices and laughter fill the parks. You are all alone with this city, so vast and unfamiliar. You take a look around, determined to fill your first night in the capital with memories. You see young nobles gathered by the fountain, talking and making jokes excitedly. One of them keeps glancing at the clock tower. They are about your age. Their clothes are hand-tailored, and 2 of them bear noble swords. They seem to be waiting for something. It might be a good idea to make their acquaintance. It would be helpful to develop a familiarity with the influential nobles of the capital. Loud music from a large establishment on the corner distracts you for a moment. The servants have just opened the shutters to air out the hall. It seems there will be a gathering inside. People from various estates greet each other as they take their seats. A servant by the door of the establishment hails you. Sir Gert Arkwright will be making a speech about the rights of the common estate. If you wish to listen, you'd better get inside quickly. Then you look at the great temple of the twins at the far end of the street. The pillar shines in the evening dusk above it. The temple gates are open and worshippers are flocking inside. There are too many people for an ordinary service. There must be something important. What do they preach here in the capital? What do they say of the new faith and the teachings of Patriarch Photis? You snap out of your reverie when you hear loud laughter. A group of young men, dressed in the colours of the Imperial College, have made the acquaintance of several lovely girls. They are making their way down the road, united by merriment. One of the girls smiles at you. It is an invitation to join them. They turn the corner and walk away, but you can still hear their voices ringing and echoing through the street. A night of revelry and jolly loud fun doesn't sound half bad. This is your first night in Eterna. No matter what you choose, you'll remember it for a long time to come. So there's no doubt what we're going to do. We're going to visit the great temple of twins. But I'm curious to hear what happens with the rest of them. But after this, I'm going to be turning off the consequences now, because I've gotten to the point where I wanted to. My skills are where I want them to be. So I can go meet the noble youths. Diplomacy and willpower. Sorry, diplomacy and manipulation, no willpower. Listen to Arkwright's speech, which actually gives us eloquence instead of willpower. Visiting the great twins gives us eloquence and theology. That's brilliant. That gives us both. And run after the students just gives us willpower. So I haven't done this option before, but first we're going to turn off the consequences, I think. Or will I? I don't know. I'll think about it, but for now we're going to visit the great temple of the twins. You follow the other worshippers to the temple and attend the nightly service, which is great. We're already getting a boost of theology and eloquence, so we'll be entering into the next level of theology at least. It was actually just at that point, I think, that I decided to choose the noble path. So now I finally get to do the path I originally wanted to do, which is the clergy. You follow the worshippers and barely make it into the overcrowded great temple of the twins. Even this enormous hall of stone is not enough to fit so many people. The commoners' half is absolutely packed. There are no free seats left at all. The crowd is buzzing in anticipation. You hear reverent whispers. The preacher for today's evening service is Father Ulrich, one of the leaders of the punitive branch of the church. Oh, he's one of the old faith. A man dressed in a long black cassock and wearing a silver cross appears on the raised platform by the altar. He bears a rolled scroll on his side, held tight by a silver seal. You try your best to see his face, chiseled features, sunken cheeks, a bald head. Father Ulrich looks at the crowd with his steely eyes, and the hall falls silent. Ye who live in Eterna, I see before me the faces of true believers. We are not united before the twins, yet in our faith in them we are united. The twins are the guiding light in the darkness of our life. The twins are the only incontrovertible truth of this world. So say Entails in his first book. The twins are law and will and love. But the will is above all, and from this will came law, and love too was born from the will. The twins had the will to bring us those three gifts, and so the great Arcanian Empire came to be. The twins had the will to lead us, and so we are no longer in the darkness, now guided by true fate. The twins brought their teachings to us when the Empire was founded, and so they created the very foundations of our lives, the knowledge of the lots and of the hereafter, and of the paths we must follow in life. This is their legacy and their gift to us. So heed these words, you who are righteous and live by your lot. You shall be brought to the peak of the shining pillar for an eternity of bliss. But you who live in defiance of your lot, you shall endure eternal suffering at the foot of the pillar. Every soul will face the stern gaze of the twins upon their true death, and answer for every misdeed. There is no escape from this judgment. So heed my will, for it is the will of the twins. Follow your lot in life, and follow the words of Entails, and then you shall reach the peak of the pillar, awaited by our gods. You have heard these words many times, in the temple, in your theology lessons, from Mother, and in the pages of books, but Father Ulrich's speech reaches far, far deeper. It seeps into the very hidden depths of your soul, breaking, binding you to the will of these words. There is no resisting this will. Father Ulrich is right. There is no task more crucial than living by your lot, so you may face the judgment of the twins in the hereafter. All doubt you have you had before your visit to the temple is gone. You feel joy at each word spoken by Father Ulrich. The truth was revealed to you all along, yet you allowed it inside you only now. You know the twins are always watching over you, always guiding, always protecting, always judging. So, theology up. Oh, sorry, actually I was wrong. We're at the second highest. This was prophet now. And eloquence is up to 15. We're almost an inspired speaker, which is great. So the sermon ends in the small hours of the night. The sky is tinted by the pink shade of the coming sunrise, and the shining pillar standing tall against the heavens. You return to your lodging, prepare all your things for the coming day, and drift off to sleep, free of any fear or doubt. So not a bad start to our initiation into the town. So we have arrival to the capital. Year 1134, you arrive in Eterna, the ancient capital of the blessed Archnean Empire. Luke's sermon. You have spent the last 3 days studying books, but today you decide to take a walk through the streets of Eterna. They are full of life as usual. You proceed to the square next to the lodging house. A procession of priests walks through the square. You notice that one of them holds a banner of the new faith, an open book. This is the same banner that was behind Patriarch Photis on the day of his assassination. A crowd immediately gathers around them. Many people are looking at an icon painting on a small pedestal depicting a grey-haired man with glowing green eyes. You recognize that face, the face of the late Patriarch Photis. A man with a thick beard appears by the icon painting. His broad shoulders bear a white and gold cloak with a coat of arms of the capital province embroidered on it. He is Luke, Patriarch of Archnia. He casts his stern gaze over the crowd. We're going to pause there for a second and just have a look at the map and learn a bit more about Archnia if we can. Where's Archnia? Oh yeah, Astynia. Archnia, yes. The birthplace of the empire and every Archnean dynasty owned by the emperor himself. The province was the most bountiful soil. Archnia abounds in ancient castles, green fields, and towering forests. Sprawling cities and factories are virtually non-existent here. No Archnean dynasty would ever let such massive human-built structures disfigure the demesnes of their ancestors. The only place in the province teeming with life and the spirit of the new age is Eterna, the capital of the empire. You've also got Sildstrom, which is the personal domain of the Emperor's own Tempest dynasty. Known by all as the most beautiful castle in the Empire, it keeps its gates closed to all but the most exalted Archneans and humans. It's nice to get a bit of backstory as well with these characters as we move through them. I speak to all who live within the sight of the Shining Pillar. Exactly 1 year ago we lost Photis, Patriarch of the Magra province, mentor of the new faith. Oh yeah, so it's possible that we could become the Patriarch, I guess, if Magra has just died. Keep that in mind. Patriarch Photis was the first to see the books of Isaetius for nothing but the words of a man, not the words of the twins themselves. He was the first to tell people to seek the path to the gods in their own hearts, instead of blindly following the lots, to seek answer in the lives of the twins and their own hearts, rather than the words of priests. Through Patriarch Photis we were able to see the truth. Through his death we saw that his words are not heresy. They are the truth. They used to be obscured by Isaetius' lies. And now I bring good news. Patriarch Eunice Diamant has seen to it that our teacher will be canonized as a saint. Yes, Eunice Diamant, an Archnean from a great dynasty and the Patriarch of Astynia, has joined the new faith himself, and through this we hope that the entire empire will soon see that our doctrine is the truth. We are free from the shackles of the lots. We are equal before the twins. With each day more and more people hearken to the truth, and one day the entire empire will hear our call. So let us pray, my brothers. The believers around you bow their heads in prayer and thank the twins, not for the lot they were given as they usually would, but for the chance to choose their own path. The Patriarch's sermon is inspiring. It compels your hands to meet in a sign of prayer. It compels your lips to repeat the words of the new faith. Patriarch Luke's sermon forms a cadence, and your heart beats in time with it now. You recall the murder of Patriarch Photis a year ago. It seems more patriarchs share his doctrine now. The news of Unius Diamant joining the new faith is stunning. If an Arcanian from a great dynasty has sided with Photis' doctrine and agreed to see everyone as equals under the twins, the new faith must truly be putting down roots. But suddenly, several figures appear by the podium, figures clad in black with glinting silver on their sides, inquisitors. They push through the crowd and form a circle around Patriarch Luke. One of these priests rises before the crowd. He is clean-shaven, tall, with chiseled features. Everyone falls silent at the sight of him. The Inquisitor speaks with a booming voice that can be heard by all. Father Ulrich, you gave the speech. I am Father Ulrich. In the name of the twins and by my right as an Inquisitor, I order you to turn around and leave. The words you are hearing are full of lies. Patriarch Luke has set out to poison your hearts and minds, and the Inquisition will not allow this heresy to spread. The only true path in life is the will of the twins. Life offers us no other choice. You are hereby ordered to disperse at once. Most people leave the square immediately. Few want to get involved with the Inquisition. Some people stay, however, and some even shout angrily, "We want to listen to Luke! He is the Patriarch of Archnia, and he has more to say. Get away from our sermon, old believers. We will not listen to you and your hoary old lies about the lots." Inquisitors, bring me those who may yet listen back to their lots, and leave the others to the champions of fate. The black-clad Inquisitors descend from the podium and approach the people who chose to stay. With nothing but their words, they make people stop shouting and start listening. The uproar ceases quickly. They have dissected the crowd, split it in smaller groups that surround each Inquisitor. One of these Inquisitors chooses to approach you. He is a humble-looking man of age with a rough haircut. He looks you straight in the eye as his lively, soulful voice forces you to listen to his words, despite yourself. Jeremiah Haig. I have a feeling this guy is going to be our mentor, if I remember from the Noble. This event happens in the Noble playthrough as well. My name is Father Jeremiah. I know your thoughts were stirred by the Patriarch's words. You are not sure whom to trust, but I teach at the seminary. I have been studying the teachings of the twins my entire life. You can trust me. I know you can hear what I have to say, it should say. I see their light in your eyes and the light of the true faith. Will you listen to my counsel, my son? You feel no malice in the words of the Inquisitor, Jeremiah, only hope. It is his lot to aid you, to guide you away from error and set you on the path of the true faith. He is a priest, so he should know the truth. Or perhaps the Inquisitor himself is in the wrong. So we can listen to his counsel, which gives us a theology +1, we can debate him, which gives us an eloquence +1, or we can resist him, which gives us diplomacy +1. Interesting. I don't really think I want to increase theology any more at the minute. 18 is quite high. I think it would be good to have eloquence up to 16 at least. Isn't that? Yeah, 16 is inspired speaker, so we're going to go with that. We're going to debate him. We are of the true faith, but we think there are problems with the lots. So let's see what he has to say. You argue against the Inquisitor and in favour of the new faith. You start debating the Inquisitor, mustering all your knowledge and awareness of the new faith. The lots are an error introduced by Isatheus. They are incorrect, obsolete, and contrary to the way of life of the modern empire. Please hear me out, my son. In these difficult times, people of your estate are the ones most tormented by doubt. Your lot is suffering, but not all of you are ready to suffer. Some turn to guile and cunning to avoid it, and they end up in eternity's embrace at the foot of the pillar. Please understand, your lot requires humility. Suffering is inevitable, and so is doubt. Each of them may temper your soul, yet each may also destroy it. But know this, if you have doubts, you are always welcome at the temple. No priest will turn you away in a moment of weakness. This is why we exist, to fortify faith in the hearts of all people, to bring the word of twins to those who have gone astray. Know this, the Inquisition does not imprison everyone suspected of heresy. We exist to protect souls, to guide and save them. We pursue dangerous doctrines and seek to rescue every soul we meet. I quite like this guy. Arrest or execution is our last resort, reserved only for sinners beyond redemption. You can see that I am merely speaking to you right now. I have not resorted to force, nor am I giving you any orders. Do not resist this, but rather consider the following. Did the Patriarch speak the truth? You answer that Luke's sermon was far more convincing than Father Jeremiah's words. Everyone blindly heeds the writings of Esatius, who is but one man who decided he had the right to define the lives of generations to come. But people have the right to free will, you say. They have the right to choose their destiny and bear the burden of their choice. Father Jeremiah sighs in response. It saddens me to see that you have been led astray so easily, yet you are young. You should seek to learn the truth on your own. If you truly believe you can interpret the will of the gods, perhaps you should become a priest yourself. Exactly what I intend to do, Father. If you come to the Divine Seminary and prove you deserve the lot of the clergy, you will be accepted. I teach there, and I am always happy to see students of considerable talent, even if they have been led astray. But for now, you should leave this place. You will learn nothing by facing the champions of faith. With this, Father Jeremiah leaves you and proceeds further. You leave the square freely, your dignity preserved. The remaining people in the square continue arguing with the other inquisitors. Armed champions of faith stand nearby, but they do not intervene. Luke and his retinue can no longer be seen. You walk back to the lodging house, mulling over Father Jeremiah's words about the seminary. Your family sent you to earn a noble title, but you have an opportunity to become a priest of the old faith or the new. If you see your destiny in the service to the gods, no one has the right to stand in your way. And we're now an inspired speaker, which is brilliant. Interesting though, to think about it, and I'm hoping we'll get to explore more about the old faith and the new faith. I'm sure we will in the priest storyline, because it's quite interesting. I'm more encouraged with the idea of the Archnean Unius Diamant becoming a new faith priest. Oh, here's another event about it. Year 1134, Fall, the advance of the new faith. Patriarch Luke's sermons have converted many commoners and nobles of the mantle to the new faith. There are now several temples in Eterna that follow the new canons with Luke's blessing. This has led to no small amount of anger among the followers of the old faith. Two mighty bishops of the church lead the new faith. One of them is Luke, the Patriarch of Archnia himself, spiritual mentor of the capital province. He preaches all over Archnia, his every sermon adding to the new faith's flock. The other leader of the new faith is Patriarch Unius Diamant. Hailing from a great Archnean dynasty, he is the de facto ruler of the Astynia province. Adored by his subjects, he has founded the Holy Order anew. Unius Diamant rarely preaches, but people believe the Astynian Patriarch attends to the needs of all who convert to the faith. This schism within the church is growing. The split has furthered the divide between the commoners and the nobles, though thankfully there have been no direct conflict as of yet. But it has become clear that there is no way to stop the steady advance of the new faith. Born from the death of Patriarch Photius, it grows stronger by the day. Well, he's become a martyr, so of course it would. So the church has now fallen into a schism, with more and more leaning towards the fall of the old faith. I'm imagining now that there's two pathways for the priest. We become an old faith adherent or a new faith adherent. So this game is actually quite good. You've got 3 lots, but you've got, I think, at least 2 different options in both. So there's at least 6 possible playthroughs, which is just fantastic. And you've order has fallen more closer to discontent. So we need to watch that. The city that never sleeps. The next few weeks pass by in hard work and preparation for the coming entrance exam at the Imperial College. You grow more and more exhausted with each passing day, so much so that one night you fall asleep while studying another book. When you finally come to, you decide it is high time to get some recreation outside. The city of Eterna amazes you as you stroll through its splendid streets. It is another night, a different night, yet the city is beautiful still. The shining pillar is a slice of light against the dark night sky. The lamps on the facades of the buildings are lit. Night descends on the capital. You don't feel like going back to your books tonight. Recently you made the acquaintance of several young men. They are children of the nobles of the mantle just like you. Sent to the capital to earn their noble titles at the college, you decide to seek them out. Your new friends are having a late dinner on the next street over, loudly discussing their plans for the night. Some speak eagerly of a dueling club where you can see the most skilled and ardent duelers of the Empire doing what they do best. You've never seen professional duelers fight. It must be far more exciting than Father's fencing lessons or that fight in the ruins of Anizot. And if luck favours you, perhaps you can even make useful contacts among the noble families in the capital. So we did that last time as a noble. The others try to convince the rest to take a trip to a secret certain salon. The establishment is expecting a guest tonight, they say, a young lady who speaks about the true state of the affairs in the Empire. There are many questions about the nature of the place and the identity of the mysterious speaker, but the young men have only one answer. They are forbidden to speak about this outside the club. However, they can take you there as long as you aren't afraid to learn a dangerous truth. So I think I'll probably go for that one because I didn't do it last time. And that sounds quite exciting. There are others still drinking their fill of wine rather than eating. Fencing, they say. Speech is nonsense. The place you ought to go tonight, they claim, is the Markian Society, a gathering for those of common estate but uncommon opinions that offers pleasures for everyone, pleasures of the palate, pleasures of drink, pleasures of the flesh. Is this not heresy and a crime? Perhaps, and yet some of your newfound friends are eager to go there. In the end, your group splits in three to spend the night as they see fit. What will it be then? A contest featuring the best fencers in Eterna, an establishment both mysterious and dangerous, or an encounter with people who defy their lot with audacity? You weigh your options. So we go to the Dueling Club, which gives us Valor, the Secret Salon gives us Scheming, or the Markian Society gives us Theology. What? I'm very, very surprised by that, to be honest. Why would the Markian Society give us Theology when it's absolutely against our lot? I mean, I really want to go to the Secret Salon, but I also really want to max out my Theology. I mean, I don't think I ever will need 20, but just the idea of having it. Learn a dangerous truth. Oh, that sounds so good. I guess we're going to go to the Markian Society and we'll leave the Secret Salon for our conspirator. You agree to join those who have traded away the bliss of the hereafter for all the pleasures of life. I just don't get why that gives Theology. But anyway, Theology it is. You wander through the alleyways of Eterna with your group of pleasure seekers until you finally reach a towering stone building with purple pillars. Such a show of wealth seems ludicrous. You would expect something more humble and modest for a society of commoners. The air inside is stuffy and filled with noise. You smell fragrance, tobacco, and sweat. The hallways are covered in soft carpets. People wander through the building dressed only in light cloaks that leave their chests and shoulders bare. You cannot tell which estate they belong to. The main hall is enormous. On the floor you see dishes full of exquisite food, including meat, fruit, and sweets. There are many beds spread out across the hall on which men and women are engaged in shameless pleasures of the flesh in full view. Their cries and moans fill the building with a cacophony of lust. In the very centre of the hall is a circle of shouting people. Inside this circle are two half-naked men. One of them is busy punching another in the face. You can see bones through his bloodied knuckles, yet they keep fighting. What is going on here? A man dressed only in a thin, translucent cloak offers you a cup of wine. You accept it and take several big gulps. The spirits warm your body and bring you the tranquility you desire. Next you are offered a pipe with an odd smell about it. You hesitate, but still put it to your lips and inhale. The strange smoke clouds your mind, but a few moments later your head feels clear and unexpectedly light. You stumble forward in this strange state, bumping into people until you reach the feast on the floor. The meat is incredibly delicious, the wine too. Your doubts and fears are gone. This place is worth any risk. The cries of the other people in the house ring in your ears. Accept pleasure, reject suffering. Why wait for the peak if bliss is waiting for us right here? A silly, intoxicated smile appears on your face. You nod and shove another piece of meat into your mouth. Strong arms wrap around your shoulders. A stunningly handsome young man has approached you. His flowing fair hair falls to his bare chest. He is dressed in nothing but a thin loincloth. He kisses and licks your fingers gently, then guides your head to his chest. We are 16, aren't we? Or 17 maybe. 16 still, I think. I had a feeling that was going to happen. You hear a heavy blow and the front door smashed to pieces. This and the sound of screams is enough to bring you back to your senses. Men in black cassocks with silver crosses around their necks barge into the building accompanied by armed guards. Next comes a terrifying shout. In the name of the Inquisition, you are all under arrest for the crime of heresy. The half-naked men abandon their fight in the center of the hall and throw themselves at the Inquisitors. The bulky grey-haired man with broken knuckles is among them. He takes a sword in the throat. His former opponent, a tall, thin young man, falls to the floor with a crossbow bolt in his bare chest. The others freeze, unable to move. They are bound by barely visible white threads, seemingly woven from the air, the divine power of the Inquisition's clergy. Panic spreads throughout the house. Intoxicated and exposed men and women rush to the front door, but the Inquisitor's allies await them with their swords at the ready. You dash away from the door and jump into a room with an open window. You jump outside and run until you are out of breath and out of strength. Your jacket was left inside and your torso is uncovered. The cool night air does wonders to clear your head as the pillar lights your way through the alleyways. Why do we get theology for this? At last you run to your lodging house and tumble into bed. Your feet hurt, your throat aches, your breath is ragged. Your eyes will still see the horrors of the night, grown men immobilized by the twins' divine power, bloodied bodies cut down by steel, naked pleasure seekers with faces distorted by fear. Perhaps the Inquisition has rescued you from the worst error of your life, one that would have led to you at the foot of the pillar. Ah, that's why. You fall asleep only at sunrise. One away from profit. Oh, that was intense. First year done. 17. It's interesting though because we wouldn't I haven't seen any other depictions of gay relationships in this game yet. 1135, Spring, the Code of Laws. You are on your way to the largest library in eternity to study for the entry exams. It is right next to the college. The streets are full of people. Everybody is excited. You hesitate for a few seconds, then let your curiosity get the better of you and head towards the place where you will soon study. Before long you hear the shouting. The great chancellor is about to give a speech about the future of the empire. You cannot possibly miss this. You mix the crowd and soon find a convenient place to listen and watch what is about to unfold. On the steps of the college you see a small tribune guarded by two Arcanians armed with swords. This is the first time you've ever seen an Arcanian standing guard, let alone two of them. The doors of the college open to reveal a stately Arcanian surrounded by an honor guard. It is he, Cornelius Tempest, great chancellor of the empire, younger brother to the emperor himself. He heads for the tribune and casts a look over the square. It is full of people in awe and utter silence. Long ago, humans witnessed the Arcanians' arrival. The two nations built the empire side by side. The provinces joined us one by one, and Magla was the final province to attain the absolute might and majesty of the blessed Arcanian Empire. Yet there was another great event long before that. 4 centuries ago, the twins had graced us with their presence. With their arrival, the twins granted us their will. They showed us their love and their law, and they granted us knowledge of what awaits us in the hereafter. They chose the dynasty of Tempest to rule the empire, and from that day forth our dynasty has ruled this land, ordained by the gods themselves. However, it is our duty to the twins not to seek power for power's sake, but rather to lead the empire to further prosperity. And so, the great Imperial College is soon to review and adopt a new set of laws called the Creed. Under the Creed, all estates will be granted rights. Under the Creed, there will be one law for all Imperial citizens to obey, human or Arcanian, from the lowliest commoner to the Emperor himself. The strife among the estates will end. A single law will resolve all of our quarrels. Glory to the Empire! The great chancellor throws his arms into the air. The crowd murmurs and applauds in approval. Cornelius Tempest casts another look over the crowd and leaves. The crowd disperses. The sound of agitated discussion are everywhere. Is it true that the Emperor's dynasty seeks to grant equal rights to all estates? What will happen to the Empire then? So the power struggle has moved more in favour of the commoners now. A dangerous route. So, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We're getting better and better in becoming our Inquisitor, and we're learning a lot more about the backstory and the civil strife that's going on in the story of the game. So, let me know how you felt about the decisions. Would you have chosen the same? How do you think the story is going to end up? And I will see you all in the next video. Take care and have a nice day.